Welcome to this explainer. Ever look at a massive, globally recognized brand and wonder how on earth did they get so big? It's not magic and it's certainly not luck. It actually comes down to something very calculated. Today, we're going to demystify marketing strategy and explore exactly how businesses balance a few key ingredients to scale up and take on the world.
Here's our game plan for today. We'll start by decoding the basics of marketing strategy. Figure out how to balance the infamous 4 Ps. Look at the rules of the game, and then take the ultimate global leap to see how brands master completely new markets. Let's get right into it.
All right, part 1, decoding marketing strategy.
You know, a lot of folks think marketing is just flashy TV ads or viral social media posts, but it's honestly so much deeper than that. A marketing strategy is actually a highly calculated, detailed plan. Think of it as the engine of a business. It combines 4 crucial elements: product, price, place, and promotion, which we call the marketing mix, to hit some very specific, measurable business goals.
So, why do companies even bother? Well, their goals usually fall into a few distinct buckets. They might be trying to boost sales for something they already sell. Or maybe they're tweaking an older product, an extension strategy, just to keep it relevant. If they're launching something brand new, the goal is usually grabbing market share. Or honestly, sometimes they just need to defend their turf and hold on to their current customers when aggressive new competitors show up on the scene.
Moving on to part 2, let's talk about balancing those 4 Ps.
The marketing strategy cycle dictates that your product, your price, your place, meaning where people actually shop and the channels you use, and your promotion all have to be in perfect harmony. And the kicker? All 4 of these Ps must be aimed squarely, like a laser, at your specific target market. Every single decision here literally makes or breaks whether our customer opens their wallet or just walks away.
To really grasp why this balance is absolutely crucial, let's look at what happens when it all falls apart. Picture this: you have an incredible product and you've priced it flawlessly for your market, but you completely fail to tell anyone about it. No promotion. The whole strategy just collapses. I mean, it doesn't matter if you've invented the best thing ever if it's the world's best kept secret, right?
On the flip side, you can't just throw a bunch of money at heavy, loud advertising to force a product on people if it doesn't actually solve their problems or meet their needs. You can pour millions into ads, but if the product itself is flawed or if the price is just totally wrong for your target market, it is a guaranteed flop. The mix absolutely has to be balanced. But this brings up a super fascinating question. If advertising is really that persuasive and businesses are desperate to hit those goals we just talked about, what actually keeps them honest? Like, what happens if they decide to bend the truth just to get that sale?
Well, that brings us to part 3, the rules of the game.
You see, businesses have to play by some pretty strict legal rules. For example, under the Sale of Goods and Supply of Services Acts, products actually have to do what they're supposed to do. They must be suitable for their intended purpose. Plus, manufacturers and retailers carry strict liability, meaning they are completely responsible for any damage caused by faulty or dangerous goods. You can't just sell something and wash your hands of it once it leaves the store.
So the big takeaway here is that misleading consumers is strictly illegal, no exceptions. You can't just say a pair of shoes is waterproof if they're going to soak through the second it drizzles. You also can't fake a discount. It's totally illegal to slap a sales sticker on something if that was literally just the regular price last week. These rules are there to make sure that when businesses compete, they do it fairly.
Okay, but let's say a business does everything right. They play by the rules, they perfectly balance their 4 Ps, and they completely dominate their local area. But then they hit a ceiling. Their home market is totally saturated. Everyone who is going to buy the product already has it, and sales just won't budge. What do they do next?
That leads us right into part 4, the global leap. When a company starts eyeing foreign markets, they're hit with this wild mix of massive opportunities and really perilous pitfalls. On one hand, you've got this insane growth potential, especially in emerging markets where incomes are rising. Plus, going global spreads your risk out. If sales dip in one country, they might be booming in another. But on the other hand, the problems are no joke. You're suddenly flying blind in a market where you don't know the local shopping habits. And don't even get me started on fluctuating exchange rates that can suddenly make your perfectly priced product instantly unaffordable.
But honestly, the biggest hurdle? Cultural differences. A strategy that works perfectly at home can fail literally overnight if a business ignores local customs or religion. A classic example: trying to sell alcohol in certain Middle Eastern countries simply isn't going to fly, no matter how clever your promotion was back home. In a new market, the strategy has to adapt, or it dies.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5. Mastering New Markets. So, how do they survive the jump? Businesses rely on a few very specific playbook methods to mitigate all that risk. They might form joint ventures, basically teaming up with a local partner. They might use licensing, where they let a local company manufacture their branded products just to save on shipping costs. Or they could go the international franchising route, letting local folks run the shops. And through all of this, they heavily focus on localizing their existing brands. To put that into perspective, let's look at the real world. When McDonald's entered India, they needed critical local knowledge fast, so they formed a joint venture with a local business. Or look at Dunkin' Donuts in the UAE. They used local franchisees who intimately understood the market. By leaning on people who actually know the area, companies solve that massive lack of knowledge problem we talked about earlier.
At the end of the day, all of these tactics boil down to one really powerful mantra in international business: thinking global, acting local. It's basically the ultimate strategy. It means you keep your massive global brand image, your logos, your reputation, your whole core identity, but you completely adapt the actual product and the promotions to fit local, on-the-ground tastes.
Domino's Pizza is a brilliant example of this in action. They are a globally recognized brand for sure, but when they launched in the Indian market, they didn't just aggressively push their standard American menu. No, they acted local. They tweaked their product to feature curry toppings, specifically catering to the tastes of Indian consumers. They changed just one of their 4 Ps, the product, and it ensured their whole overall strategy remained a huge success.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want you to think about this in your own life. Look around at the stuff you buy every single day. Has your favorite brand managed to perfectly balance its 4 Ps? And more importantly, if you were the CEO and you are tasked with taking that exact product and conquering a completely foreign market halfway across the globe, how would you adapt it to survive? Because out there in the global arena, adapting is literally the only way to win. Keep questioning the strategies around you, and I'll catch you next time.